gorgeous outside. John took both of the kids to the city, so I get the evening to myself. Now, it is hot outside right now, so there's absolutely no way I'm going to be working inside the greenhouse. It's going to cool down a little bit, so I'll work in the kitchen garden a little bit, but really, I need to wait till it becomes less stinking hot. So, I may as well read a book. This is so good. This is a reread. I love it so much. I love it even more. I'm about, halfway through? And I'm reading the section right now where she's talking about pandemics. And it's just so on the nose. This book was published in 2022. And there's a whole section in here where there's an author who wrote a book about a pandemic. And she talks about how people kind of miss the point about a lot of things. People were stockpiling cans of tuna fish while still sending their kids to school. Well, like, what were we stockpiling on? Toilet paper. Freaking out about that. Not really thinking about the important things, but that's beside the point. When I was talking about the Book of Love, and now I was talking about how it was full, it was fluffy, it needed to be pared down. This was edited so well. It was crafted so well. It was edited so well. Finely crafted. There is not a word out of place. There is not a thing that doesn't need to be said. There is not a description that isn't needed. It is, dare I say, a modern, a current day masterpiece. I love this book so much. With my vlog last month that May was just going to be kind of like whatever I want to read. I am reading the books. They were on my TBR poll that I can. And then the ebooks, I'm kind of just doing whatever I want. I'm currently reading Children of Men. It's all right. This one is one of my classic science fictions that I wanted to try. It's less sort of science fiction-y and more just kind of like a man in a world that is slightly, I think it's called speculative fiction. I watched G's Aurelium wrap-up where she talks about like all the data and all the fun stuff, and one of the things was like the most read book, and the most read book was a Fate inked in shadow, blood. Let's say a Fate inked in blood. That sounds about right. I put myself on the wait list for like 15-week wait or whatever, and boom, it came in. The quick read thing. So that's what I'm listening to right now. I am just at the beginning of The Tyranny of Faith. Loving it. But struggling to find time to read it because it's physical. You're tired of me talking about this. Oh, like this trailer for the Colleen Hoover book came out. It Ends With Us. I think that's what it's called. Is it weird that the trailer made me want to read the book? I've been avoiding Colleen Hoover's because I have heard some mixed things about her stuff, and I'm kind of curious. So I've put myself on hold. Now, I want to show you something. So you know how like the internet just like targets you for things, like the algorithm's like, oh, you're looking at like farm girl stuff. I need to show you this because this is what I got totally sucked in for. Okay. I can't tell if I love them or not. Like, so the description was that they are cotton and like 5% nylon. Honestly, they feel like 95% polyester. But because they're so loose, they're pretty breezy. Like, okay, and look, like chickens and ducks. Come on. And this color, I love this color. It looks a little bit more blue, but it's on the greener side, like a teal. I'm thinking if I had a little belt with all my tools and stuff, like cinch it in, and it's a bit more flattering. But like for now, lovely. Also, pockets. Woo! So I totally got sucked in for this. Also, can we just like talk about like real homes and like living with toddlers? Anybody else do this? Left my coffee in the microwave again. Anyway, the kids are watching Thumbelina for like the umpteenth millionth time, and that means I'm going to do a teeny bit of reading in like, sorry, that's really close. Oh, but you see the mess behind there. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm gonna do a tiny bit of reading while they're watching Thumbelina. Reading update on a wet morning. Let's frame this and shop. Ooh, I got a free basket. Looks pretty. It was half dead when I got it, so let's revive that. Come here, Marshall. Come here. Good boy. So we've had a very exciting month. Oh, no, down. There you go. You can pet you. There you go. All right. So I finished A Fate Inked in Blood. I can totally see why so many people were reading it. It is so fun. Okay, this is the thing that's given me the most Sarah J. Maas classic vibes in a long time. Now, I read something by Daniel L. Jensen years ago, The Stolen Songbird. That one made its rounds on BookTube a while ago. That one was fantastic. If you want to read that one, just read that one. Don't read the other two books of the trilogy. But the first one was very well crafted. It was like a woman who's a singer and she gets kidnapped by goblins? Trolls, I think. And they get pulled under the mountain. It's very Scandinavian. And it was just very twisty-turny. I remember that one very well. She does the exact same kind of stuff in this one. There was a little bit of Lord of the Rings vibes in there. I'm going to put a little spoiler banner so you don't get spoiled if you want to skip ahead and don't get spoiled for this. Minor. I'm not going to talk about it in detail. There is a whole section where she's going underground, and it reminded me of the Mines of Moria. And they basically are just going through this tunnel underground, and there's these dead things coming at them. Okay, spoilers end. And now I am on to the 6th Veronica Speedwell that I have forgotten the name of because they're all super generic names. She's I'm only at the beginning of it. They're investigating a possible murder of a very famous lady mountaineer. It's kind of fun. It's it's interesting. It's the type of writing that just sucks you in and you're just really enjoying yourself. I was able to start A Tyranny of Fate, but the first 5 chapters, oh, they're so good. Like, I started reading and I thought, oh, I'm not going to be able to figure out who people are. No. I figured it out within like half of first chapter, and then it just got really good and really classic. There's a man who's like the Justice, and he's like this legendary guy. He's got so much power, like actually power, like not just power within the community and the country, but power, kind of magical power too. So he's got this presence about him. His name is Von Volt Conrad. Just perfection. And Richard Swan just announced that he's doing another series, and I'm super excited. That's boat themed, well, ship themed. So it's naval, or what do you call it? It's piratey. It's like piratey, but like kind of naval-y. I don't know. I'm really stoked. I'm so happy that I'm in the middle of this book, and every time I go back to his writing, it just is like this warm hug. It's the same thing with Deanna Rayborn. So I'm like riding a high right now, so I'm ending the month so well. I just did my May TBR, oh no, sorry, my June TBR, and I am super excited about it, but there's going to be several carryovers from May, and that's just how it's going to be. And I think some of them are just going to get lost in the dust, and that just happens. But lately, my kids fall asleep, and I lay with them, and then I fall asleep, and so I haven't been doing my usual nighttime reading. So, like, it's just, oh my goodness, we're just doing what we can, and enjoying a little bit of rain. I've added them from the library. These are ones that I just check the new releases every so often, and well, not every so often, weekly. And I add things to my list, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So I want to start knocking those ones off. So, like, let's see here. Song of the Six Realms. I read the one that was the tea fantasy that is escaping my mind right now. I'll put a picture right here. And I absolutely loved the tea fantasy, and so I want to check more of her stuff out. We've Always Lived at the Castle. My sister is reading this for university, and I thought I'd join her, and so we'll pop it in there, and if I end up reading it outside the time, that's fine. Just Stab Me Now, I've had on hold for so long. This one is by Jill Barrett. I used to follow her a lot on the internet, and she's very thoughtful in her conversations that she has, but they're all like niche science fiction fantasy kind of. She's the first one who introduced me to the Liaden universe, and I loved those books. Rereads in here. I put the Chilbury Ladies Choir in there because I recommended this one in one of my garden blogs, and I just want to reread that. And then I put a whole bunch of Jennifer Ryan ones in there so we can just kind of fluff up my historical reading. They're feel-good books. It's our last nice day in a long time. Uh, there's supposed to be rain all next week, so everybody's doing their lawns, and so forgive the weed whacking sounds. I was just editing my reading vlog, and I realized I hadn't wrapped it up in any sort of way. I just sort of ended. This month was a very good month. I read Sea of Tranquility, loved it. Got back into Richard Swan reading, loved it. I listened to The Girl Who Came Home and adored it, and it made me realize how much I kind of miss historical fiction. It makes me want to read a bit more historical fiction in the coming months. Maybe the feel-good ones, not the devastating ones. It was pretty devastating. It was a little feel good too, though. Everything was wrapped up nicely, regardless. And now the books that I'm carrying over to June. Today is the 1st of June, so I decided to go the nonfiction route. So I am currently listening to The Bright Ages in contrast to the Dark Ages, and it is that time period that we normally refer to as the Dark Ages, and the historians are trying to shine a light on that section of the Middle Ages, explaining that no, there was stuff going on, and it was all illuminating and all beautiful and all wonderful. There was stuff going on. A section of the Middle Ages that I don't tend to read a lot about, so it's been quite enjoyable to listen to. Anyway, it was a very good reading month. So much happened. I had to split this up into 2 parts. Stay tuned for my wrap up. I think I read 7 books, all varieties. That's Marshall. My name is Karen. I'm the Book Liberaut. I explore all types of books. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye.